They say a woman becomes the most dangerous when she falls in love with herself, not because she wants to hurt anyone, but because she finally stops letting anyone hurt her. Aisha was not always like this. Once, she was the kind of woman who said sorry even when it wasn't her fault. She waited for messages that never came, trusted promises that were never meant to be kept, and believed love meant sacrificing herself again and again. She thought being strong meant staying silent. She thought being kind meant tolerating pain. People took advantage of that. Friends used her. Lovers ignored her. Society judged her. And every time Aisha blamed herself. "Maybe I'm not enough," she whispered to her reflection. One night, after crying for hours over someone who didn't even notice her tears, she looked at herself in the mirror and asked a question that changed everything. Why do I love everyone more than I love myself? That night, she didn't get answers. She got anger, then clarity, then courage. She stopped chasing people who ran from her. She stopped explaining herself to those who misunderstood her. She stopped begging for love. And slowly, she started choosing herself. She began waking up early, not for anyone else, but for her dreams. She started saying no without guilt. She dressed the way she wanted. She spoke her truth, even if her voice shook. She walked away from places where she was not respected. People noticed the change. "You've become selfish," they said. "You've changed," they complained. "You're too proud now," they whispered. But Aisha smiled, because what they called selfish, she called self-respect. What they called pride, she called self-worth. What they called change, she called healing. She was no longer afraid of being alone. In fact, she enjoyed her own company. She learned that peace feels better than chaos, silence feels better than fake promises, and solitude feels better than disrespect. She no longer needed validation. And that's when she became dangerous. Not dangerous with weapons, not dangerous with words, but dangerous because she was no longer controllable. You couldn't manipulate her anymore. You couldn't scare her with abandonment. You couldn't trap her with emotional games, because she had something unbreakable now: self-love. She loved herself enough to walk away, loved herself enough to demand respect, loved herself enough to never settle for less. And the world fears women like her, not because she is cruel, but because she is free. So yes, a woman is most dangerous when she falls in love with herself, because then she stops asking for permission to exist. She stops shrinking for others' comfort. She stops begging to be chosen. She chooses herself. And that changes everything. If this story touched your heart, like, share, and subscribe.